Okay, everyone, I got one for you today. This is the second one of these pistols that I've reworked. This is a slide that I got off of Gunstroker, and I'm just kidding, Gunbroker. I got it for a complete slide and lower parts kit for like $72 before shipping. I think I'm into it for about $90. But as you can see, it's in brand new condition. And what I'm going to do is, before I even go on, I would love to have a Glock 19 with a 1911 grip angle. So Glock, if you're listening, this would be necessary if you just make a pistol an offering, at least to the people who like to shoot traditional, normal grip angles that point naturally. So this is my answer to that. Glock 19 size actually fits in Glock 19 holsters. This is an SD40. I have a VE also that I've already finished enhancing, I'm going to call it. What I did is a complete trigger job, and I got my original one down to actually it was 4.5 pounds, but then I brought it up to 5 pounds because for carry, I believe you should have at least a 5 pounds so you have no manual safety. That's my opinion. By the way, all this is just for informational purposes. I am not instructing people what to do, but I'm just giving some tips and sharing my knowledge on this. So I acquired this one for about $90 shipped to me. Came with a complete lower part kit. It was a complete slide, everything. I mean, it's like brand new, no wear. It's gorgeous, okay? So I wanted a black slided version. I liked the pistol so much after I had my first experience with it and I built it up. It's an extremely accurate platform. The trigger pull, the only thing, the problem is I got mine down and I adjusted it to a 5-pound trigger pull where I wanted it. But the inherent and designed in the long trigger reset is what turns a lot of people off. It doesn't bother me because what I've done with it, I've been able to reduce some of that, and I got my trigger down to, like I said, a 5-pound pull or a 4.5-pound pull if you want that. But like said before, in my opinion, if I'm carrying a pistol, I want at least a 5-pound trigger pull if it has no manual safety on it. But that's me. Your mileage may vary. Anyway, SD40. What I did, first of all, completely stock, I have a set of night sights that I actually got from CDNN for about $42 shipped to me. Those are going to go on. I'll make another video of that one, but for right now I'm doing the slide enhancements to accept the Apex trigger spring kit, and I'll show you what I did before I did try prep the slide. What I did is, in here, as you can see, it's completely disassembled. There's nothing in the slide. So what I did is I deburred inside of the safety plunger channel. When I took a 2000 grit piece of sandpaper in there and I manually just kind of spun it around in there until I deburred the surfaces. And then I took some Jeweler's Rouge and I put it on the end of a well-worn Dremel polishing attachment, and I got it in there and I rotated it with the Dremel. I have my little Dremel attachment over here on low speed until I cleaned that all up. Then I took some oil, some CLP oil or hops or whatever you want to call it, but I usually use CLP. Cleaned it out really good with Q-tips. Cleaned out the firing pin channel. Cleaned out this area over here where your extractor and extractor spring's going to go. And let me put this aside. And I took the stock plunger and I deburred that, see if you can see that, with some 2000 grit sandpaper, wet dry paper. Just deburred it, didn't reprofile it, but I don't know if you can see that or not, but it came out to a very high slick shine. All the edges were round, but I made sure they were perfectly round, so when that trigger bar goes over it to push it down, it'll just glide over the top without any friction or resistance or not any additional or unwanted. So you try to reduce the grit. This reduces the grit and it reduces that fake humpy feeling. There's also a place in the trigger bar where you can polish a trigger bar where it rides over this, and that will take out that pre-hump, because in the SD or the SDVE versions, when you pull that trigger and your trigger bar starts to ride over this on a stock one that's I call it unfinished, because this is what should be done from the factory. You get that grittiness because you get two kind of semi-rough surfaces going over each other, and the trigger bar, almost during that pull, you get like almost like a two-stage humpy bumpy, I call it, and it goes over, and it get that grit, and it kind of almost feels like it goes boom boom boom, like as a double, like a double jump over this, and I don't like that. When I'm finished with it, you get a nice smooth pull, you don't feel any grit, and it goes right to the wall, and then you get your break. That's what you want. But you do still have a longer trigger reset on the reset, because that's just designed into the trigger bar assembly of the SDs and the SDVEs. That's just the way it goes. That's just the nature of the beast. But that's okay. When you're firing, even rapid firing at the range, you don't even notice it. And with the modifications, I should say enhancements, strike that. Enhancements, what it will do is it will reduce that by at least 25%, because I'm going to be using an Apex trigger and all Apex spring components on this. But as you can see, just by polishing these surfaces or finishing them, and I did it all the way around, all the edges, and actually inside where this unit will ride, it's going to sit in like that, and it's going to go in like butter, just like that. And you can see how it drops out nicely. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's going on. When I reinstall all of this, it's going to sit in nicely, polished, beautiful. And then when that trigger bar rides over that, it'll push it down with that Apex spring in there, and it'll have a lot less resistance because this is all polished. I think there's someone out there that sells these safety plungers. I don't know for this model. I know for the M&P they do, but you know, just take it upon yourself. If you're a real shooter, unless you're an off-the-shelf buyer, and I call those the lazy people of the I'm gonna call it the sport. They just want everything handed to them. I give more credit to the people that take a very good quality. This is an outstanding quality firearm, the Smith & Wesson SDVE or SD, whatever you want to call it. But you just, you know, you can take it for the meat and potatoes that it is, but the base quality is there. You could just get these for, I got a second one for, and what was it? I think under $200 shipped to me. Only fired once or twice, and I'm going to take that one and I'm going to use the frame for that one. Then I'm going to resell the slide to recoup some of the cost of this right here. But yeah, you could get a whole pistol. You can get a whole one of these for about under $200 if you really hunt around, and then you could take it apart and you could enhance it. Anyway, I just figured I'd share this with you. This is the Striker firing pin block plunger. Polished, deburred, lightly deburred, and then polished. And then the guide that it goes in, also deburred and polished. So, once I get her all finished, I will follow up, and I'll let you know what my results are. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a great day. And if you like this kind of content, please, by all means, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give me a big thumbs up, not down, up, and I'll bring you more tips and tricks. Thanks for watching again. Everybody, you have a great rest of your day.